Hello and welcome to my little world. Today I'm going to talk about the exterior of my hotel, which I have been working on for the last week. And I've done a lot on it and I'm quite happy with it at this point. So I'm just going to describe to you what I've been doing. So you may have seen it in past videos. It's made of a storage container with shelves on the inside and rooms, and it has, the doors are just cardboard. So I had this big cardboard box, it may have been two, I don't remember at this point because that was several years ago, that I put around the shelving, and the cardboard box is not completely flat, so that has been something to contend with, but from the front it looks pretty good. So what I did was I had this bright idea. I covered the cardboard with brick looking paper, the scrapbooking paper I use, and then I used this white duct tape to create a border around the top of the shelving unit, and to make these corners, which it was the way that I taped the cardboard to itself and also made it to look like bricks. So you can see how the tape is attached. And it got my scissors a bit sticky cutting it, but it worked out pretty well. So I put that all down the sides. And just recently, I painted parts of it. So you can see here that parts of it are still white and parts of it are more of a cream color, which is the paint that I've been using on lots of different parts of the exterior in the last week. So to conserve paint, I tried just painting part of the tape on the sides, and I left part of it white. And I'm kind of deciding whether or not I like that. I like the look of the two-tone, but the white tape that's there is shiny. So, but I think I'm probably going to leave it this way because I like it pretty well how it looks. So, the door on the hotel is just a piece of paper that is made to look like wood. I cut more of the duct tape into smaller shapes and arranged it in an arch over the door. And the arch part of the door is from an Art Deco stained glass coloring book that I colored in with markers, and I used it as the top of my door. It has a handle, which is just a little wooden thing that I painted black, and then I just recently got these stickers, and this sticker was on it, so I used that for the door, and I used these stickers for the, whatever those are called. You know what they are. Can't think of it at the moment, the name. I use two bookends to hold my doors closed and open on the hotel because since it's made of cardboard, the doors don't stay open or shut that well. So I have used bookends to hold the doors open or hold them closed. And the bookends I was using before were some ducks, and they weren't in scale. And so I got the idea recently to buy these two bookends, and then I had these little nutcrackers from Christmas that I glued onto the bookends. So now they look like little miniature guards that are holding the hotel. And this over here is, of course, my halberdier, and he kind of acts as a doorman at the hotel, and he needs a hat. I think I'm going to try making him a hat, but I have to research that and see what his hat would look like. So what I did this week was I added these cornices. Oh, before that, I did have these windows on it. I had these windows. They're some wood, laser cut wood pieces that I got at Hobby Lobby several years ago. And I put more of the stained glass coloring book designs behind them. And they were just unfinished wood. So this week I decided to paint them black. Well, first I painted them brown, and I didn't really like how that looked. And after I made the other window for the pub, then I decided that black was the way to go. So I painted them black, and then this week I put these arch designs around them. And these arch designs are made with washi tape. I've been doing things with washi tape lately, and you can see, I thought to myself that surely there was a better way to do this, but what I ended up doing was taking the washi tape and clipping it all around so that I could make a curve. And then there's straight pieces on the sides. And I painted those with the cream color of paint. And I also added these. These are just pieces of white paper that are painted also with that same color. And then I also added these pieces of wood to it. So I have these, this trim that I bought. It's quite lightweight. It's not real wood, at Lowe's several years ago. And I'll show you some more of it at the a little later. But this is a piece of it that I just had, and it was exactly this size. So I didn't bother to cut it off because it seemed close enough. And I sanded them a little bit, and then I ended up, they were brown, and I ended up painting some black on them. And I really like this color, and I think it's pretty at the top of the building. But I had also put these other pieces onto the building. Some long ones in the middle and shorter ones on the sides, because that was what I happened to have. I had some pieces that I cut in half and ended up using them as short ones, and then I had the longer ones. And so I had painted them black, and I liked the color. It was really pretty, but when I put it on the building, it just didn't look right. So I ended up painting them the beige color. So, you know, it seems like there's always a saga when you're creating and building things, and I went through quite a few steps trying to figure out what would look good here and what I ended up doing. So I want to tell you about this window I made. And I think I had shown you before that I have this sign for the Wily Fox Tavern here. But all I had was that sign. So I decided I wanted to make a window that would look like you could see inside the pub. I don't actually have the pub inside the building, but I just wanted to look like there's a pub inside the building. So what I did was I used some things from the Art Deco stained glass coloring book, and the black pieces also came from that. And then I used some acetate, I think it's called, just, you know, clear stuff that I got from packaging. And I used some 1/8-inch vinyl strips to make the thin parts of the windows. And then the fatter parts are from the coloring book. The stones around the window are just pieces of white paper that I painted beige. And so the picture inside the window is really cool because it's an actual doll pub. So when I had the idea of putting a window here, I was trying to come up with what image I could put. And I looked at some images of real pubs online, but that just didn't seem right for my doll village. They look too realistic. So there's this wonderful creator on YouTube. Her name is Lili, and her channel is Lili Designs. And she had actually made a doll-sized pub. And so I was looking at her video, getting ideas for what I could do to make something that looked like a pub. And I realized that I could screenshot her a picture of the interior of her pub. So I sent her an email and I asked her if it would be okay if I did that and then printed it out on a piece of paper so I could use it for my window. And she wrote back and very graciously said, yes, I could do that. And so, this is her pub, which is just perfect for people to look in the window at my village and see. And I will leave a link to her pub video in the description of this video, and you should definitely check out her channel. She's a wonderful creator, and she does stop animation with the buildings and things that she creates. So that's the story of this window. And let's see what else there's there to tell about this building. So I have a couple of hanging lanterns here, and they are Christmas ornaments. And they actually, I can take the top off of them and put these little tiny lights inside them so that they'll light up a little bit at night. And they're down here. There's a couple little signs. There's one with a hand pointing toward the pub, and another one with a bicycle, because this is a place where this bicycle is parked. And I think I've pretty well covered this building. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you some other things that I've been working on. So I just wanted to show you, this is the trim that I bought, and it's very lightweight, which I like. I like being able to work with lightweight materials because I don't want things too heavy, and I don't want to weight down things when they're made from cardboard too much. So I have actually used these pieces to make giant frames for some of these Amazon shower curtains that I've told you about. So I just wanted to show you that and tell you about that idea of like making your own frames, because you know frames are so expensive, and you can buy some trim, use a miter board to cut them, and you don't even have to put them together that well. You can just kind of nail them up to the wall or attach them to something, and then they make great frames. So that is the color of this originally, and then I sanded it down, which actually the sanded wood looked really good too, but it just wasn't the right color for my hotel. And so then I painted it black, and that was very pretty. But then the pieces that went under the windows needed to be beige to match the rest of the building. So that was how I came to that. So then I just wanted to show you, there's the train station and the toy shop. So here's the little boy that was in my very first video that had a green sweater on. And he's a very hardworking boy in this town, because not only does he haul firewood and Easter eggs and flowers in the different seasons, but he also works as a porter at the train station and a bellhop at the hotel. And so here he is, taking Grandma and Grandpa to the hotel and carrying all their luggage for them. And this is a different hat that I made for him out of fabric, and these pants I also made for him. The little vest was one of these drawstring bags, and I turned it into a vest for him. His tie, you can see it's one of those little triangles that are hanging from the drawstring pouches. And then I didn't even bother to make him an entire shirt. He had white material underneath, and so I just made him a collar and cuffs and put 3 little half pearl beads on his shirt to make it look that way. So he is taking Grandma and Grandpa to the hotel, and here's the three dolls that you've seen before that were watching me work on the bakery. Here's Millie. She's so proud because the bakery is coming along nicely, and this is the spot it's going to be in. And this week I worked on making the roof for it. So this is foam board that I cut and taped together, and I'm going to be putting roof tiles, shingles on that, and I'm also going to be putting shingles on this, which is the roof for the new house, which this is the container that had the passage fontaine curtain on it before, and now I've put brick on it, and I'm turning it into another tall house. So I've been working on that. And this is my other house on the other side of the hotel. And this house is also going through a transformation because I had this artwork on it, but I used oil pastels to color the artwork, and so every time you touched it, they would come off. And I don't always know about a lot of this stuff, and I didn't realize I could have put a fixative on it, but I didn't know about that, and so I was trying to figure out how to protect it because my grandbabies from Japan are going to be coming to visit me in July, and so I was thinking about, well, how can I protect some of these things, because they're only going to be 1 and 3 at that time, so they won't quite be ready for some of the things in my village. And so I got the bright idea to just put this plastic on it that has adhesive on the back of it. But that has turned out to be very glary, and it's hard to look at the building or take pictures of it with that plastic over the top of it. And since it has adhesive, there's no way that I can get it off again. So I've been thinking about what could I do? And I've also been working on like making my village look more cohesive. Like now I've got these 2 brick buildings, and there's also brick on the toy shop and on the train station. So I've been kind of thinking about the bigger picture of my village. And so I decided that I wanted to sort of redo this. It's great that I have the picture underneath, and I did take a picture of it to preserve it because I was so proud when I made this. But I've decided that in order to make it more cohesive with the rest of the village, I'm going to change it a little bit and make it actually a little simpler because the picture on it is like a nighttime picture. It has lights and darkness, and it just has some realism to it that doesn't actually fit with the rest of the village. So what I'm doing right now, what I did last week, was I started putting washi tape on the sides of it and also using this thin vinyl tape. And so I'm using tape to sort of redo the scene, and there will be more to tell you about that. And I'm also enlarging it because the picture the picture of the house doesn't extend all the way to the end of the container. It has like blank spots on the sides. So what I want to do is on these parts, I've actually extended it all the way across, and I'm going to also extend it around the sides and imitate the designs on the front of the house on the sides of the container. So then you'll be able to see it from the corner, and I think that will look very cool. But for now, I just have the curtain that I did have on the other house for a while, this Passage Fontaine, which I didn't really like it on the other house because it's a little big for the scale. But over here it looks fine, and once I get the side of the house done, I might just put this around the corner so that it extends around the corner because it looks kind of cool. An extension of the village. And of course I have this tree which belonged to my mother, and it's kind of a giant tree, and it goes nicely with my doll village. And the dolls are still standing around underneath. And then over here is where I'm working on the theater, and I haven't done too much on that yet, but I did just get this shower curtain this week, or last week. And I think it's so pretty, and it's kind of closer to the scale of the village, so it just fits in so well with the village. And below it is my carriage, which I will tell you about one of these days. So then I thought I'd just show you a little bit of the rest of the room. This is a couch here, and my wonderful fireplace. I've been sitting by the fire working at this little table, and this is a sketch of the plans that I have for the second house that I'm working on, the brick house. And we got snow last week, so it's been kind of cold here, and I really liked sitting here by the fire working. And then on the mantle I have a couple of statues from that company Toscano that I was trying to remember the name of on another one of the videos. In the corner is my castle, and I'm planning on making a castle facade for it. So the way my village has worked is that I started by getting the dolls, and then I built rooms for the dolls to be in, and then I built buildings for the rooms to be in. So I have the dolls and the rooms, and now I'm working more on the buildings. So this is actually the poster that I used parts of to make the staircase inside the hotel. And now I'm trying to figure out, I need to look and see if I have a poster that I can cut up that might be good for making shingles on my roofs. So I'm thinking about how I'm going to do those. Here's my desk. And here are the 2 chairs that I've been reupholstering. I mentioned that to you in my video about the bakery construction, that I've been reupholstering a couple chairs. And these just had a pale yellow fabric on them before, and it was just kind of worn. And so I just draped this fabric around the chairs. It actually went really well. The fabric I had, which I had bought several years ago, just turned out to be the perfect amount of fabric that I needed for it. And then I've just been gluing around the edges with fabric glue. I've been using Gorilla fabric glue, and I'm also using Fabri-Tac. So I have trim that's going to go on top of those. So these chairs look very pretty with my new couch that I just bought a few weeks ago. And it's massive, and I told myself that I was going to buy lightweight, flexible furniture, and then I fell in love with this couch and had to buy it. And I had to get movers to bring it through my door because it was such a tight fit. But we got it in, and I'm happy. And I found this lovely coffee table at Goodwill that just went perfectly with the couch. This little decoration also from Goodwill, and this artwork on the walls I found at Goodwill. So that was fun. So this is a settee and chair that belonged to my parents. They're antiques, and it's been living at my niece's for 20 years, but she just moved house and decided she didn't have room for it anymore, so I brought it to my house. In the corner here, I have a beautiful Toscano lamp and a writing desk, which belonged to my parents. And this writing desk is what I was using as the church. I had a different cover on it. And then the space below is where I had the bakery. And I had this writing desk in the space where the new house is, the new brick house is now. Because I decided to turn it back into a writing desk for a while because it goes so pretty with my new couch. So now we've gone all the way around the room, and I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for coming to visit me. I hope you've enjoyed seeing my things, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.